Hi everyone, Lynn here. Just a quick show note about this final round of the 2023 Tournament of Champions and the Hallmark Movie Drafts jury. Toward the end of the show, I mentioned their names, but I forgot to mention Michelle, and I totally butcher Alicia's name, calling her Alicia. For the record, there were 12 voting members of the jury, which included Kate and Erin Beth, since they had drafted on panels. I didn't vote, and of course, the three competitors, Mary, Dan, and Meredith, didn't vote either. So kick back and enjoy the final round, including the special championship music intro, which I'm kind of going to miss. Oh, and while I have you, March's draft will be the Brendan Penny edition. Buckle up for that one. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the final round of Hallmark Movie Drafts Tournament of Champions. We start out the tournament in January with 17 players in round one who had each won their drafting match in 2023. 8 of them moved on to the semifinal round in round two. And now here we are in the finals with all of our three finalists, Mary, Dan, or Meredith. One of them is going to be crowned the 2023 HMD champion. I'm Lynn, your host, and with me are my co-hosts, Erin, Beth, and Kate. And joining us tonight are some of the 2023 and 2024 HMD panelists and guest co-hosts who are going to be tonight's HMD jury. That's right, we are going Survivor style with determining who's going to be the champ. They'll each cast their vote at the end once the lists have been finalized. They'll vote for the player that they feel has created the best list of 10 movies, and that person will be the champ. Before we introduce our three finalists, let's talk for a second about the format for this final round. It's a drafting, basically a list of 10 movies of Hallmark movies, but with a twist. It's not our usual drafting format. There's no trivia round, there are no vetoes, and most importantly, there's absolutely no collaboration. Each player will be creating their own list of 10 movies, and once the movie title is picked, it cannot be used again. So Mary, Dan, and Meredith will each have very different lists of 10 movies with none of the same titles on them. Here's how it's going to work. The players were given a list of 10 movie categories a few weeks ago that were either Hallmark Movie Draft show topics in 2022 and 2023, or they're ones that are coming up in 2024 and 2025. So, Erin, Beth, can you remind everyone what those 10 categories were, please?
Absolutely. There are 5 movie categories that are Hall Star specific and 5 that are theme specific. They are movies featuring Andrew Walker, Niall Matter, Tyler Hynes, Erin Krakow, and Nikki Deloach in the leading roles. And then there are 5 theme specific categories: Best Filmed on Location, Best All-Time Christmas, Hanukkah, or Kwanza Movie, Best All-Time Favorite Non-Christmas Hanukkah or Kwanzaa Movie, Best Kiss, and Best Ensemble Cast Movie. You can see the categories in the Hallmark Movie Drafts Instagram, and there's a link in the show notes.
Great, thank you. So those are the drafting categories. Now let's talk about the eligibility requirements. To be eligible, a movie had to premiere or air on Hallmark or Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channels through and including December 2023. Kate, can you remind everyone about the parameters and which categories we supplied eligibility lists for? Because 4 of those categories are wide open. They're totally subjective.
Yeah, so we provided eligible movie lists for 6 categories. So Andrew Walker had 27 available titles, Niall Matter had 26 available titles, Tyler Hynes had 16, Erin Krakow had 9, Nikki Deloach had 17, and the Best Filmed on Location list had 37 eligible. For the Hall Star lists, it's their entire Hallmark movie portfolio excluding cameos. For the Filmed on Location, we included all movies that premiered before 2023 that were filmed in locations other than the US or Canada, and that excluded royal movies. That's the same criteria we used for the 2022 Filmed on Location draft. The last 4 categories are subjective and no lists are provided, so they can pick their favorite movie from any year through and including anything that premiered in 2023.
Yeah,
Regardless
great.
of the category, movies that premiered in 2024 are not eligible for any of the 10 categories.
listeners, you know the drafting categories. You can see the drafting card in our Instagram. You've heard the eligibility requirements. So let's get on and introduce the players for tonight. First up is Mary. Mary, you've drafted 3 times since I started this podcast in 2022. You did the best Christmas movies of 2022, the infamous Lacey Chabert mega draft of her best 15 movies back in July, which was just total insanity and so much fun. And just recently, you did the 2023 Christmas movies. Are you ready to do this tonight? What can we expect from your gameplay?
Well, as my competitors know, I have been prepping for weeks. I have rewatched all 736 movies. I have taken notes. I have multiple spreadsheets, and I mean, I'm here to win, obviously.
Yeah, so listeners and jury members, Mary, I think Mary was having an aneurysm of a sort in the panel chat where she was like, oh my God, do I have to come up with like 10 lists times 10 movies? It's like, what is happening? And it's like, no, that's not what's happening. So big relief for you, I'm sure. Good luck tonight. Good luck tonight. Next up is Daniel Thompson, aka Dan from the Deck the Hallmark podcast. He's our double-decker Hallmark daddy. And in case you didn't know it, he's also a basketball coach. I don't know. Do people get that? Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, you might be the first to hear this. I actually retired from basketball coaching 3 days ago. I know, 20 years, and I hung it up this week. So yeah, nobody knew that, but I wanted to correct you because after 20 years, actually not. I'm putting all my marbles in the Hallmark Movie Drafts champion basket is what I'm doing. I feel like the notoriety of that alone is going to be enough to get me by. It's an honor just to be nominated, in all honesty. And Mary said she watched all 730 movies. I would describe that as light work. I've watched them all 3 times. I told my family to just kick rocks. I locked myself in a room with Gatorade in a bathroom, and I did not come out until I had the definitive list in all 10 of these categories, and I can't wait to mop the floor with everyone. Lynn, back to you.
So our listeners around the world love it when you play because they love your competitive spirit and your enthusiasm and your hot takes. But my question to you is, I mean, typically your style is no prep is my show prep, except when it comes to competition. I know that about you. But I'm also wondering, if maybe you are building a list of 10 dumpster fires and then pitching it to the jury as my list is best because I'm saving you from watching these 10 dogs.
That's a great idea. I think that there's some wiggle room here to do that. There is one list that I have 2 movies that I would play, and then my number 3 movie is literally God No, Nothing Else. That is the name I've written right here. I will say this, every time we do this, and I love this show and I love being on it, and I just basically beg to be on it all the time. And I always am like, I'm just going to be really just chill and just like amenable. And whenever we start, it's just like, I have to like really go for it. But I'm concerned because the jury is really choosing the winner here. And I didn't strategize like specifically, like the 10 bad movies would have been a really good route to take. And I didn't take that route. And so now I'm concerned, with the jury, because, there's not much I can really do. It's out of my hands at that point. So it's a different kind of game, but I'm very excited to just be here. And I'm going to try my best to not let the competitiveness of it take over.
You should just unleash. It's totally fine. And I did want to say that you are a great friend of the show. You were on the very first episode with Andrew Walker.
Right.
You did the anniversary show, which was huge. Guys, that was an eligibility list of 72 movies, the largest eligibility list so far. And that's great. And, spoiler alert, you're doing one coming up in April about one of our mutually favorite tropes.
Very excited.
Time travel, time loop,
yeah,
Groundhog Day, all of
that'd
that.
be fun.
So good luck to you today as well. And finally, last but certainly not least, there's Meredith, who won the Taylor Cole draft, and who literally just finished recording the Hallmark All-Star mashup draft with Erin, Beth, and I, and Whitney. Literally just 2 hours ago, we finished that draft with Meredith, Lisa, and Jen, and it was crazy good fun. Meredith, how are you holding up? How are those electrolytes working for you right now?
I think they're still working well. I had some tuna casserole for dinner, so I got my protein. I got my spreadsheets. I'm ready. I think Dan and Mary are just the right kind of people to be competing against because they're feisty. Mary once jokingly told me I have a big head, and that's when I knew we were going to be good. We were going to be good.
Told
I don't remember this. When did I do this?
I knew she wouldn't remember, but that's when I knew we were good friends. It's because I was sitting in front of her at Bramblefest and I was like, can you see? I'm so tall. She's like, it's fine. And then later she goes, man, I could see if not for Meredith's big head. And I was like, she's a friend. So she's got the good feistiness.
Sounds like I just spoke the truth.
We can all call Meredith Big Head Levanovich in front of her now. Is that what we can do?
We're cleared. We can do it.
Good.
I knew
Thank
I should
God.
have
It's
brushed
been
my
so
bangs out.
difficult to not say that in front of you. So now, thank goodness, man.
Just call me basketball head.
BB head. You know, Meredith, it's so funny because listeners, in the panel chat, Meredith has been like so helpful, so congenial. She's posting like this, you know, best list category that could be massive, right? It can be any movie all the way up through, you know, 2023. Meredith is like, oh, look, I found like this best kiss list, and she's sharing it and she's helping people out. But Meredith, I just want to know, I have to feel that beneath that neighborly, congenial surface beats the heart of a ruthless stealth competitor that just wants that trophy. True or false?
True. They're going down. They're going to kick rocks all day.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to the drafting format and then we'll actually get to the game. So there are 10 rounds, one for each movie category. We're using a randomizer app for each round. Listeners, I showed everybody that's here tonight. I showed them the app online. That's going to determine who goes first, second, and third in every round. Every round, I'll reset it. New names will come, new orders will come up. So that's the way that will work. The player who goes first in a round will pick one of the 10 categories. Then they'll pick a movie to be placed on their own list in that category. Kate's going to keep track. They can talk about who's in the movie, maybe a little bit about the storyline, why they chose it, whatever they want to say. And then the remaining 2 players will go in order of the randomizer. They'll do the same thing in that category. It closes out. We reset the randomizer and we go on to the next category, whatever that may be. So as I said at the beginning of the show, once a title is picked, it's gone. No one else can use it, not even in a different category. It's out of the game. And once everyone's top 10 list is completed, Mary, Dan, and Meredith will each have 2 minutes to pitch their final lists to the jury before the jury votes. The jury can ask questions before we vote. And then we'll cast the votes and we will see who wins the glory of being the HMD 2023 champion, who's going to get that trophy that you're probably going to need a bigger house or apartment for. It's going to be so freaking huge. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable stuff. So here we go. And also I will introduce the jury members when we get to the final round if they want to speak. So so sit tight for that. They'll be chatting in the chat. So if everyone is ready, Dan, Meredith, and Mary, if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and hit the randomizer. And this will be the playing order. First up for this first round is going to be Dan, then Mary, and then Meredith. So Dan, which category would you like to choose to start us off?
Let's go with Andrew Walker.
All right. What's your movie?
Three Wise Men and a Baby.
Wow. All right. Is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I think this is one of the best Hallmark movies ever made. And I think Andrew Walker's filmography on Hallmark is kind of like not very consistent. And it's because he made a lot of early movies before they broke the mold. And so Three Wise Men and a Baby is a movie that could play on three different lists in this draft. And I knew if I had the opportunity, I do think it, along with a couple others, but it is clearly Andrew Walker's best movie. It might also be Tyler Hynes' best movie. And it also is one of the best Christmas movies Hallmark's ever made. It's super funny. He's great in it. He gets to show a little bit more range than he normally does. But the opportunity to put that in this category helps me unpack the rest of my list the best. So I knew if I was first what I was doing. That's the only strategy I had all night, and I got to be first. So works out well for me. Great movie. It was going to be on somebody's list. I'm happy it's on mine.
On Dan's list, no one else can have it. Mary, you are next up in the randomizer. What movie are you going to pick for Andrew Walker?
Okay, so great pick, Dan, love it. And I agree that Andrew Walker, as much as we love him, has a really inconsistent catalog. However, that's not going to stop me from choosing a 2012 movie called A Bride for Christmas. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I love this movie. I love that it's a Hallmark mashup of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Runaway Bride. But I also love it because it is a 2012 movie, and I don't know, maybe that's before the what's his face, Bill, whatever, got in there and messed things up. But Kimberly Sustad is in there, which is always a plus. And her sister's a lesbian. I mean, they've got that diversity in 2012. And I love that. I'm always happy to see when Hallmark movies are finally reflecting the actual world a little bit more. And I love that they were doing it at least in one movie back in 2012. Plus, it's super cute, and the two main actors have great chemistry, I think.
Great choice. I love that movie too.
I
Meredith,
hated it.
how about you? What is your pick for Andrew Walker?
Of course you do.
Yeah, I agree. Andrew's done a lot of movies, but there are very few of his movies that I think are actually like great. But thank you, Mary, for not picking my movie. After Dan took my first option, I'm gonna go with Bottled with Love.
Yeah.
Because
Good
you
answer.
got
Good
two
answer.
Yes, good one.
fantastic leads. Joy Lenz in every movie is amazing. It's got an interesting plot with the kind of You've Got Mail vibe. I love You've Got Mail, and so that's good. It still has some basic Hallmark, feel to it, but I think it was a cut above what they were making at the time. And again, really the leads, push it forward a little bit more. So I am choosing Bottled with Love.
Great choice. Great choice, you guys. You flew through that. I've just fired up the randomizer again. And for this round, the picking order will be Mary, Dan, and then Meredith is once again third. Whoa. Okay, Mary. What's your category?
Okay, we're doing Erin Krakow.
Okay.
I mean, she has not been in a lot of movies. So this, I will be honest, is the category I was most nervous about. I am picking The Wedding Cottage. It is my favorite movie with her, and maybe the only one I actually really love with her. So, I don't always love Brendan Penny, but I think the two of them together in this movie, they've got fantastic chemistry. Her clothes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mary. Brendan
Wait.
Penny is on the line. I'd like to speak with you.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I mean, Brendan Penny's not really the thing, although I think he wears the glasses in this movie, right? Does he have glasses in this movie? Or is that
Not in this
it's a
one.
different one? Doesn't matter. Aaron's wardrobe is great in this movie. I know he's an artist. I can't actually remember the plot, but as I say on my podcast, the plot doesn't really matter. I like the characters. I like the way they look. I like the way they look at each other, and that's my pick.
Right. Dan, over to you.
So this is the category that I was second most worried about. And I thank the randomizer gods for not making me third. I know Mary and I have similar feelings about the film It Was Always You. However, the one thing that is undeniable about that movie is the filmmaking quality is absurdly high, and the chemistry between Krakow and Hynes is just stupid hot. So that's my pick. There's no world where this isn't the best Erin Krakow movie, even though it's a movie that does bother me from a cheating perspective. It does undermine my enjoyment of the movie. However, if we're talking qualitatively, this is also a movie that could have easily been played on my non-holiday best Hallmark movie ever list. It's that good. And so I'm going to play it here at Krakow because I don't honestly know. The movie I have listed third, I'm embarrassed to say out loud. I'm embarrassed to say it out loud, and maybe I won't have to. So I'm going to go It Was Always You, and would love to hear what Mare's got to say.
I don't like either one of you in my heart right now. I also have 3 movies on my Erin list, and I felt the same as both of you. Well, and the first 2 were what you already picked. So I guess I gotta go with Finding Father Christmas. Because out of all the others on her list, this one is at least the most interesting. Movies that have a mystery element tend to interest me more than other standard Hallmark movies. So out of everything else that Erin Krakow offered, I hope she gets some better movies. But if it's not the 2 that have already been chosen, then it's got to be Finding Father Christmas, and I'll be fine.
I know that when we were just recording the All-Star mashup, Travis Van Winkle, Brant Doherty, who was the third? Oh, Mark Blucas. I know that afterwards you said to me, Meredith, that this was the category you were the most fearful about because of the limited selection. So I applaud your Finding Father Christmas. You reached deep and you came up with something. So that's great. All right. So for Erin Krakow, we've got The Wedding Cottage from Mary. Dan has It Was Always You. Meredith has Finding Father Christmas. Fired up the randomizer. And the order for this next round is going to be, wow, Dan first, Meredith second, Mary third. So Dan, once again, you get to pick the category and the title.
Now we have a little bit of strategy that comes into play. Yeah. Give me Tyler Hynes and give me An Unexpected Christmas.
Ooh.
This is, for my money, Tyler Hynes' best movie. It's super duper funny. It's got the best leading lady, Bethany Joy Lenz. It's written by Paul Campbell. It is whip smart. Tyler plays off type here. He is not the got a lot. He doesn't have a lot of swagger or a lot of like confidence. He's finding his way through. There's a fake relationship premise here. There's a great scene with a unicorn. And best of all, his other 2 best movies have already been taken by me. So I'll leave it to you, ladies.
Wow. Okay. A little gloating. We're really only just starting here. So
yeah, it's going to go downhill. I may as well get my jabs in while I can.
Meredith, give it to him. What's yours for Tyler Hynes?
Okay. Well, listen, I might be shooting myself in the foot with this, but I will explain myself. Oh man, I don't know. Okay, here, I'm gonna say it. Because of Tyler's performance and the kind of character he plays, well, you're already disappointed. I'm gonna say time for him to come home for Christmas.
Dear God in heaven.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because here's the deal. I could have said Falling for You. I could have said it. I could have said On the 12th Date of Christmas. But his characters in those movies are not his cool, like, moody Tyler self. And I like that when he's like that. So that is, for that reason, also, well, I guess I eliminated that for myself too. Real good kiss at the end. I just rewatched it to study, and it's high quality. So yeah, this might seal my fate as a loser, but I'm going for it.
No, it's still early days. Mary, I know you're bummed that Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas was already taken.
Yeah,
If you can find
definitely
it in
have
your
scratched
heart
that
to
off
find
on my
another
list.
one for Tyler.
You know what's funny is that as she was describing that it's a real bad, I'm going to paraphrase, it's a real bad movie, but Tyler redeems it. I thought she was going to say a different movie. That when I was doing my prep work, I started to think, my strategy could be to pick the 10 movies that I'm pretty sure Dan hates the most.
Not a bad strategy.
Get some spite votes.
I mean, I feel like that goes along with the spirit of why we're all here, but I couldn't come up with 10. So, my pick for Tyler Hynes category on my list is It's Christmas, Eve. His first movie.
Yeah.
I like it because it brought us Tyler. I like it because, listen, he's got some real bad hair in a lot of his movies. And I know that like we like him with the facial hair, but he looks real cute in this movie. And the only thing that made me feel a little bit conflicted about picking this is that I love the kiss at the end. And I actually rewatched it as I was preparing because I was like, am I remembering right? Yeah, it is. It's a good one. So it can't be in that category, but it is an added reason for it to be my pick right now.
All right. Way to go. We love that movie. I think most of us like that movie. I see some comments in the chat. I don't think anybody's upset with that one. Okay, so for Tyler Hynes, we have Unexpected Christmas from Dan. Meredith chose Time for Him to Come Home for Christmas. Mary just chose It's Christmas Eve. I fired up the randomizer. First up is going to be Mary. Second is Dan, and Meredith. You are third again.
Poor
I think
Meredith.
this randomizer needs to be recalibrated.
It's
Man.
biased
It's heavily biased
against
heavily
people with big heads.
It's got a big head bias.
God. Mary, save us. What's your category on your movie?
Oh, okay. Gosh. Okay, I'm gonna pick Niall Matter
Okay.
because
Yes.
I've never
Fun.
watched an Aurora Teagarden movie in my life, and I'm not going to probably start
Same.
now. So I like my list to choose from was actually pretty short for him. And there are two that I only two really that I like, and only one that I love, and that is my pick, Holiday Hotline. It was a fantastic holiday movie, and it's a great Niall Matter movie. It was so creative. It was so clever. They're really cute together. The banter, in both versions of the couple on the phone, in person. I just really, really loved this movie a lot.
Great choice. Great choice. Yeah, it was super, super clever. Dan, she
Once
took
again,
Holiday Hotline. I knew you were a fan of that.
yeah. Once again, shout out to my boy Randomizer for helping me out here. Because I have on my list Niall Matter, 1 Holiday Hotline, 2 Rip in Time, 3 God Know Nothing Else. So I'm gonna have to think it through and go with Rip in Time. Now, I do think Holiday Hotline is a better movie. I just do. It's a really the choices they make in that movie are pretty special. But Rip in Time marks what I consider to be new Niall. So Niall Matter like coast through the first half of his Hallmark tenure being just like a pair of khaki pants eating a glazed cake donuts with nothing on it. And then all of a sudden in Rip in Time, he's got costumes and accents and he's got voices. And every movie he's made since then is a movie where he's like really doing a character and trying things. And so for that reason, I think it's a very monumental film. Also, one of the best kisses on the network. It is on my short list for best kiss. It was 4th on my list for best kiss. In the Rain out there, a phenomenal kiss. So could do a lot worse here. Would have loved Holiday Hotline. Respect that pick at 1, but it's better than God Know Nothing Else. So give me Rip in Time for Niall Matter.
I'm looking forward to the 2025 release of God Knows Nothing Else.
Yeah, it's
for
going to be
Hallmark
great.
Movies and
It's going to be
Mysteries.
great. Yeah.
That's a movie, a mystery. I can already pick the lead actress.
Yes. Yeah.
Meredith, randomizers, not best friend at the moment. What is your choice for Niall Matter?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is fun. Well, okay, here's the problem. So many of these I can't remember them. I had the same top 2. Rip in Time was my number 1. Finding Father Christmas was a maybe. One of the Aurora Tea Gardens was a maybe. I'm gonna go with that family history mystery movie. Again, it's got the mystery element. There's some drama with his relationship with his dad. And it's on the other side of Rip in Time where he has shown a marked improvement. So that's where I'm at.
That's where you're at. All right, for Niall Matter, we have Mary with Holiday Hotline, Dan Rip in Time. Meredith is where it's at with family history mystery. I'm going to fire up this randomizer again. Meredith, you are first. Dan is second.
Let's go.
Randomizer love for Dan.
The
Mary,
jury's gonna make up for it. I promise you.
Dan, you're third. All right, Meredith, pick your category. Tell us your movie, please.
I'm gonna go best kiss.
Oh, all right.
This is important. And this is hard. There's been many a good kiss. My thinking is that it came down between Catch Me If You Claws, because they broke some boundaries there, some Hallmark boundaries. But I went back and I rewatched, thanks to YouTube, that Sweet Autumn Kiss. And it's something else. So I think I'm gonna have to go with Sweet Autumn.
Sweet Autumn. So that's Nikki and Andrew, right? Sweet Autumn. Got it. Okay, Dan, best kiss.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Meredith. There's only one that I would have had. I actually think Sweet Autumn might be the best kiss. Sweet Autumn, picture of her, Rip in Time. But Catch Me If You Claws. Come on, everybody. I mean, this is the Straddle Sesh. This is Italia Ricci. It's Luke McFarlane. It also happens to be the best movie there, which always makes me happy. So I would have been happy with Sweet Autumn. Also happy with Catch Me If You Claws. Also would have been happy with Picture of Her, in all honesty. All 3 of those work. So give me Catch Me If You Claws because it's the best movie.
Catch Me If You Claws is on it for Dan under best kiss. Meredith chose Sweet Autumn. Mary, what are you thinking for best kiss?
Okay. Can I pick Nick and Jess from New Girl? No? Different
Yes.
podcast? Okay. Everything that was on my list, except for one, has been taken. And so I think that means the best option is Sweeter Than Chocolate.
Yeah, not a bad option.
Because prior to the straddle kiss of Catch Me If You Claws, I feel like that was the most handsy situation that we have seen. Also, I really like that movie. I think it's very cute. And I think that our lists are lacking a bit of magical realism. And so magic chocolates and a steamy kiss for the win.
Steamy magical chocolate kisses for the win.
It's what I wanted to do all along.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So for best kiss, we had Meredith, Sweet Autumn. Dan chose Catch Me If You Claws. Mary chose Sweeter Than Chocolate. Let's see what our pal, the randomizer, has chosen. Okay. Hold on a second. It's freezing. All right. So this time it is Meredith. You get to go first again. Mary, you go second. And Dan will go third. I think the randomizer is starting to like, I'm not going to call you big head, Meredith.
You're welcome to.
I just cannot do that. Meredith,
You
with the
can't. That's my
smallest
pet
head
name
I've
for her.
ever seen in my life. What's your choice? What's your movie category and what's your movie title, please?
I just have a big head because I'm very smart and humble, so it's fine.
You need the space for all that brain.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta go ensemble cast because I only have 4 picks for this,
Yeah.
and it's a tricky one. And there are lots of there that I think these 4 options were pretty high up there, but I'm gonna go with 5 Star Christmas. It was also on my list of potential best Christmas movies, which I have way too many options. But it's just a great cast. Again, led by Joy. She's awesome. But really the whole family is really wonderful. Like the siblings and the in-laws, they're good actors. The plots they give them are interesting. The storylines are given enough time and respect to not be too distracting, but to also not feel kind of pointless and like you don't care about them. So that's my number 1 ensemble movie.
I love that movie. That's a great choice. It's super fun. Everybody pretending that they're like the bed and breakfast guests and they're really just all there as family. It's a great choice, Meredith. Okay, Mary, what's your pick for best ensemble cast?
Ah, this one's hard. I really wish you would have provided us a list for this one. I spent what felt like half my life scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, looking for ensemble cast movies. And then, oh, I have to cross that one out. And now I feel like I have too many because the ones that I can remember, I remember because they tend to be good. Of course, 5 Star Christmas was on my list. But I feel like our lists are a little Christmas heavy, honestly. So I'm torn.
Jessica is throwing you some shade in the chat. She's like, how is this hard? There's clearly only one right answer.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
I don't know what the answer is. Oh, Jessica, are you referring to Love on Iceland? No, I'm kidding. Not my pick. Not my pick. Okay. Oh, actually, the one I was gonna pick, I don't know if does it qualify? Can I pick Every Time a Bell Rings?
Where did it air?
It may have aired on Hallmark.
It aired on
Movies
Hallmark
first.
Movies, but didn't they air it? I think it aired on like a random Thursday on Hallmark.
Yeah.
It did.
Technically.
It has played on the Hallmark channel, but I think it premiered on the streamer.
It's okay. It's as long as it has aired on the channels, that's what counts, because you've noticed that in my preamble now that I've changed it for like the last 2 shows because
Yeah.
of Hallmark Movies Now kind of grabbing some first runs and then they throw it over to Hallmark Channel or Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So
Yeah.
you can play it. If it has aired on Hallmark Channel or Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, you can play it.
Okay. All right, then I'm playing it. I really like this movie.
Okay, what was it?
Every Time a Bell Rings. It's the 3 sisters. They're doing the scavenger hunt.
Wes
Although again,
Brown.
I would say the plot doesn't matter. What I liked is the sister relationships, how it was hard and then it was sweet. I like the diversity in cast and in relationships, and I like every time Wes Brown is on my TV.
Okay.
So
Great. One score for Wes Brown. Dan, what's your choice for best ensemble cast?
I cannot believe that I am third and I get to play Haul Out the Holly. I just can't believe it. Guys, Stephen Tobolowsky and Melissa Peterman are better than anyone that has ever been a supporting actor in a Hallmark movie. They're hysterical. They're funny. Oh yeah, your boy Wes Brown's there. Lacey Chabert, Palaha stops by. Eric Mabius stops by. This is an absolute cast of characters. It's funny from start to finish. It's got folks like Taub from House is in there. There are names on names on it, stacks on stacks on stacks. This is it. Like ensemble number 1, Haul at the Holly, no question about it. I'll take it.
I didn't even think of it in that category, and I feel ashamed of myself.
I just thought about it. He's even got the glasses.
everything you could
gosh.
possibly want.
Okay, however, I will say, and I know that not everybody agrees with me on this, but it did bring us Haul Out the Holly lit up, which I hated with every fiber of my being.
No, I liked
So,
some of it. I just didn't think it worked as well because the new characters weren't very good. But I also, to be fair, Every Time a Bell Rings wasn't on my list, but it is not a bad choice. And then Five Star Christmas is like, I mean, come on, like that's a no-brainer.
Oh, good.
That's like the
Mm.
first one you think of.
Try to make
Yeah.
us feel better.
Absolutely.
God's favorite.
Absolutely. All right, I've fired up the randomizer. We have Dan first, Meredith second, and Mary third. So we're grooving right along. We only have three more categories after this one. Dan, what are you going to choose for your category and your movie?
So this is wild because I don't think that there's going to be a lot of arguments on the non-holiday. Like I think there's just so many to choose from. Everyone has their own thing there. And then I think everyone's got their favorites when it comes to most of these. Xmas or the holiday, the non-holiday, and then location. Give me Nikki Deloach. Let's do that
Ooh.
one.
All right.
I think
Nikki Deloach.
Yeah. I think she has a top of the class best movie. And you guys may just disagree, but give me Two Turtle Doves for Nikki Deloach. This is Nikki Deloach. It's Michael Rady. This is in the heyday of Bill Abbott, yet somehow they made a film that is rich with character and it deals with grief. And it does so with the respect and integrity it deserves. Before, new Hallmark, this was one of my favorite Hallmark movies that had ever been made. The two leads are great. The kid in this movie is really great as well. There's some really touching scenes. The audio from her grandmother, I believe, is really, really special. So yeah, Two Turtle Doves with Michael Rady and Nikki Deloach.
Two Turtle Doves from Dan. Meredith, what are you going to choose for Nikki Deloach? Because that's a powerhouse movie right there.
She's got a lot of good ones, and she's excellent in everything she does. I'm torn here between A World Record Christmas and 5 More Minutes. I think A World Record Christmas is a better movie altogether, but she's so heart-wrenchingly good and you get more of that in 5 More Minutes. But I think I'm gonna have to go with A World Record Christmas. I mean, you have an autistic character, like that's a really big deal, and he's just like, the actor was excellent, the storyline was great, the fatherhood line, it was just a really good movie. It was the first movie of this last Christmas season that I thought, like, oh, okay, I really want to watch this again. Like this is going on my rewatch list.
Excellent choice. It's on my rewatch list too, and I'm not usually into the sads, but Nikki does sads very well, and this one was uplifting too. So Mary, Two Turtle Doves is out of play. World Record Christmas is out of play. What are you thinking for Nikki Deloach?
I'm thinking, I don't watch Hallmark movies to be sad. And I adore Nikki Deloach as a human and as an actor in these movies. And I won't say better for her. I get what you're saying. Like she's good in these movies, whatever. But I want different for her and better for me because I don't like the sad stuff. Like if I want sad stuff, I can just, be in the real world. So I really want to pick one of her comedies.
Say it. Know what you're gonna pick. Just say it.
Okay, what I really want to pick, just to be contrary, as I am wont to do.
Comes
I
that
really
Enneagram.
I really want to pick The Perfect Catch, just to give Dan a little gift.
I mean, it's tough out there.
I do love that movie because I hate baseball, so sorry, it's not about the baseball to me. But I'm not gonna pick it. And I won't keep going back and forth. I'm gonna pick Cranberry Christmas. It still has the sads, but it also has Ben Ayers and that scene on the porch.
Great
And
scene.
it has my expectations, which were so low and dreading it. And then like, it was so good. It was not depressing after all.
Is that the one where are they separated or divorced or what is
They're
what's
like, yeah, I think
they're-
they're divorced and then they run this thing and they get back together, right?
Yeah,
their
they're like
marriage is
Chip
kinda
and Joanna
rocky.
if they got separated, or I don't think they were, well, I don't know. Like I said, plot.
Those are the top 3 Nikki Deloach movies. I would, if we did a Nikki Deloach, have we done one of those? I've not been a part of a Nikki
No,
Deloach
it's
draft, but
it's coming up in
yeah.
2026.
I think, wow, you and the MCU over there got it just bugged. Yeah, but it is, those are the top 3. I think those are the top 3, no questions asked. And then I am excited about the preview show where you announced the 28, 29, 30 slate, for Hallmark Movie Drafts, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
And you're on every single one of those.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Clear your schedule. You have to be, these things are long format. People need time to watch the movies. So it does take a while to get things lined up. I know it sounds completely stupid when I say, yeah, 2026, I've got a slot for you. What do you think? But that's just the way it goes. And speaking of the way it goes, I fired up the randomizer and guess what? Meredith is first.
3 in a row.
Mary is second, and guess who's last? Dan.
This guy.
That's right.
All right, Meredith, let us have it. What's your what category do you want?
Oh boy. The most okay, we're gonna go with location movies.
All right.
I had trouble remembering most of these, so we're starting with that. But see, the problem with on location movies is that a lot of them lean on the fact that they're in a great location for the rest of the movie to just be kind of dumpy and blah. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But one of the ones that stood out from the pack more than the others was Mix Up in the Mediterranean. It was a few years ago, but it was an interesting plot. You got like twin Jeremy Jordans, and Jeremy Jordan is great. And so it was just a little more interesting than your basic Hallmark movie. And they, you got the great like on location scenery and all that, but it didn't feel like they leaned on that to make it an interesting movie. It was a nice accessory. So my choice will be a Mix Up in the Mediterranean.
That's a great choice. Jessica Lowndes in the Mediterranean with twins. What is not to love? And it's a cooking competition. Does it get any better than that? I don't know. Mary, does it get any better than that? Do you have a better one? What are you thinking?
It definitely gets better than that, but I will concede the Jeremy Jordan of it. Instagram has recently put him back in my algorithm, and so that's been a delight in my life personally. I know you all were wondering. My pick is what I think is the best on location movie. Also acknowledging that I have not watched a lot of the on location movies. I don't know what my bias is. I promise I'm not that kind of American, but here we are.
Mary, do you have a passport? Do you even have a passport?
I do. It has a stamp in it. One.
Wow.
Mary is a white Christian nationalist. We got it. We understood. That's the
I
bottom.
knew it.
Great.
Classic.
Oh my gosh. How has it come to this?
Breaking news every day at HMD. Dan quits basketball. Mary's, I can't even repeat those words.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Jeez. Okay, I'm picking Pearl in Paradise.
Ooh.
Because Pearl in Paradise brought us the magic that is Christopher Palaha and Jill Wagner, which means we then got 7, if you'll remember from trivia, Murder 101 movies, Murder Mystery 101, whatever, Yep. I love them together, and I love this kind of movie. It is kind of old school Hallmark. I'm sure there are probably things that don't hold up or aren't as clever or well done if I would go back and watch it again today. But I love romance adventure. They have great banter. They have good chemistry, as we know. it's a fave, and I'm glad I got to put it on my list.
That's great. And I probably should have prefaced it with the eligibility for, I think Kate mentioned this at the top of the show, filmed on location. To be eligible, it had to be filmed somewhere other than, Canada and North America, to be way out there, because most of the movies from Hallmark are filmed in Canada, the provinces. So Dan, Mix Up on the Mediterranean has been chosen. Pearl in Paradise has been chosen. What are you thinking for filmed on location?
You can't make this up. My top 3 in this category were number 3, Mix Up in the Mediterranean, number 2, Pearl in Paradise, and number 1, Heidelberg Holiday. This movie is so charming. The shipping of the fragile things she made was a bummer. The rest of this movie is so charming, and there's this great scene where they walk up all of these blocks with the luggage, and from that point forward, you're thrown into a world where, yes, her last name is Heidelberg, and yes, she's in Heidelberg, but you get these wonderful scenes of the German markets. You get this fun fish out of water story. You also get this meeting the family. It was in my top 10 Christmas movies of the year, and easily the combination of plot and showing me something somewhere that looks like I would want to go to it. Those two things clash so well here. So it's my number 1, and I'm glad I get to play it. Heidelberg Holiday.
Heidelberg Holiday. All right. So
That is a good one.
Really good one. And we love.
I'd have been fine with any of those 3. I don't think there's much separation there. I'm so happy those are the 3 movies that were played.
Hey, I just like to defend myself that the one stamp in my passport is to Kenya, and I did not pick any of the African on location movies because they don't do it justice. They are offensive to me as a world traveler.
With your one stamp.
Got it.
Julie,
It's a big stamp.
Is that an American flag in the background of your living room, Mary? What in the
No.
world?
Like behind the cross.
Absolutely not. That's a blanket.
I already know which audio clip I'm picking for
Yeah.
Instagram.
Made it easy for you.
nothing like branding someone, literally, as Mary would be. All right, here we go. I fired up the randomizer. We have 2 categories left. Best all-time non-Christmas Hanukkah / Kwanza movie, and then the best all-time Christmas / Hanukkah / Kwanza movie. So the randomizer has chosen Mary first, Meredith second, Dan third.
Man, again.
Mary, what are you thinking? Which one of those 2 categories are you going to run with?
I'm going to go with non-holiday.
Okay. Let's hear it.
My
This is best all time. Sorry, this is best all time. So Mary can choose a Hallmark movie from any year up to including 2023. Nothing in 2024 is eligible. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mary.
my all-time favorite Hallmark non-holiday movie remains Surprised by Love. It is Hilary Burton, who I adore, and I wish Hallmark had not made her mad so that she would come back and do more movies. And Paul Campbell, who I used to adore and now have complicated feelings about, but he's really good in this movie. And so, yeah, it is really good. They play the same kind of characters that they play in other movies, where he is he's a slacker with a heart of gold, and she is uptight. And there's a beeline with her sister, where her sister is like dyeing her hair, and then they sing at the piano, and I just love this movie. It is my number 1, and I am so happy that I got to put it on my list.
It is in my top 5 all-time favorites. I too have complicated feelings about Paul Campbell, but come on, this movie has Tim freaking Conway in it as,
I mean, come on.
Yeah, stealing every scene, and a cute dog. All right, Meredith, what are you going to choose for best all-time non-Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa holiday movie?
Yeah, there were a few top options for me here. A decent variety among them, but I gotta go with New Year's resolution. So that was maybe 2022, 2021 with Tea Time, Amy Teagarden, and my favorite cinnamon bun, Michael Rady. And this movie just totally took me by surprise. It was so charming. The way their relationship plays out, it's very flirty and fun. And it just felt like a much more natural progression than the Hallmark movies where they profess love after 2 days. It was just like very sweet. And there was an interesting, complicated, dramatic element with the bank and the sort of conflict of interest. And again, like I do love Amy Teagarden and I really love Michael Rady. He's special in my heart. Yeah, so New Year's resolution.
That's a great choice. That's the one where she needs to be saying yes more often to
Yeah.
her opportunities and everything. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
I'd forgotten about that movie and it got shelved by Bill Abbott for some reason and then put in January. And it is, you're right. That's a good pick.
That's a great pick.
Thank you. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So Dan, what are you going to choose?
I'm thrilled to get to play this movie. This is a 2022 movie that I feel like got robbed at the Deckies because it was shut out at the Deckies. And I feel like we don't talk about this movie enough. And I think that's the case because Bran didn't know that the two moms were dead the whole time. It's Krista Rodriguez, it's Santino Fontana, it's Just One Kiss. This movie is really, really solid. Santino Fontana
so good.
Gets to sing in this movie like a lounge singer. You've got the matchmaking moms that are adorable. They're in the apartment. It feels very new Hallmark. So much to really love about this movie. Also, we don't really see, I don't know if we've seen Krista Rodriguez in anything. If we have, I've forgotten about it. They're so good together. The kiss is good. The mom's, spoiler alert for Brandon being Ghost, is fantastic. That's a really, really fun twist. This was in 2022, this was a top 5, maybe top 3 movie for me, including the Christmas season. And I thought it should have been nominated for all the awards that all the Christmas movies get for the Deckies, like the Kringle Award and all this stuff. And so easily my go-to. I will say this, Bottled with Love, It Was Always You, I have ahead of this movie. Both have already been played, but thrilled I get to play Just One Kiss.
That's a great
Good
choice.
one.
And I have to admit, Jury, raise your non-virtual hands. Raise your hand if you didn't know the moms were dead. I didn't know the moms were dead. Is it just me? Wow, it is just
you
me.
and Bran.
Me and
You and
Brad.
Panda.
Okay.
Oh, it was
I
I
Panda.
love that movie. It was
Yeah.
so good. It was on
Panda,
top of
I'm
my list,
sorry.
too.
Panda didn't know that the moms were dead. Bran did. Panda didn't. That's what it was. That's even better. That's a better story.
Why we love him.
That's why
Yeah.
I love Panda.
Because
It's
he
great.
doubled down in there. That made it even more fun for sure.
Guys, we have zoomed through this, no pun intended. So the
Wow.
one category that's left is the best all-time Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa holiday movie. Fired up the randomizer, and the picking order is going to be Dan, Meredith, and then Mary is going to close it out. So Dan, what is your pick for the best all-time Christmas holiday movie?
I was kind of dreading this, getting the first pick here. And the reason is because I love these 3 movies a lot. And I think there are 3 that I think stand above the rest. And then I think there are 2 that separated a little bit from the third. And having to choose one of these 2 movies is very, very difficult. But I'm going to choose the one that sticks the landing. So it's a great movie and then sticks the landing. It's a real movie. It's a real rom-com. It's so wonderful. This is not recency bias. The best movie Hallmark has ever made is Round and Round. Vic Michaelis, Brian Greenberg, Rick Hoffman, the whole cast. I love the time loop elements. I love how they let nerds in the comic book store be nerds. I love the last 10 minutes. The other movies I have on this list that are the best of all time, in the last 10 minutes, they become a very standard in the box Hallmark movie. This movie doesn't. It actually gets better in the last 10 minutes, not worse. And I had to really like after I watched it, I went back and watched it again because I was sick when we did this. And I was like, was I just sick? Watched it again. This movie's great. it's a movie that I would watch yearly. Like it's that good. And I think it's the best thing they've ever done. And I think they caught lightning in a bottle with writer, director, and cast who all were new and hungry to do this differently and do it right. And I adore it qualitatively. Yeah, round and round.
Double-decker jury member Stephanie has made a comment in the chat. Has anyone else caught that Dan has said love multiple times?
Hey, listen, we're not to me pitching the jury yet, but I'm just telling you right now, I love a lot of the movies on my list.
Oh my God, are we
I
all
just
going to
do.
break into song? Dan loves
Yeah.
a movie. All right. Well, before we all start, the choir here, Meredith, what are you going to pick for the best holiday movie?
Yeah, I'm picking one of the ones that Dan was talking about that in the last 10 minutes gets a little sappy, but I'm a hopeless romantic, so it's fine with me. I'm going with Ghosts of Christmas Always. It really, really stood out from the crowd last year. It was a great beginning of the season. Super unique. The cold open is wonderful. The three ghosts being incredibly quirky and played by these great actors was fun. And Ian Harding is hilarious. He needs to be in more things. Doesn't hurt that he's very good looking too. But the chemistry was great, the dynamics. I liked the relationship with his dad, the random lady, Carol Kringle, whatever song she sings, I don't remember. She was hilarious. So yeah, Ghost of Christmas Always for me.
Ghost of Christmas Always for Meredith. Dan has Round and Round. Mary, you're going to bring everything home for us. What are you going to pick for this category?
Oh, my list was so long. There really are a lot that I really love. But I think I'm going to forsake what my own heart wants, which is always going to be Joey Lawrence and Hitched for the Holidays. I have no explanation or defense. It is what it is. And I'm going to do something for the greater good and put, rightfully so, A Biltmore Christmas on my list.
Yes, we did it, gang.
It is fantastic. It is beautiful. It is so well done. Is it also a commercial? Yes. Shut up. Do we wish it would have made the hard choice at the end? Yes. I mean, I like things being wrapped up in a bow, but sometimes I want things to be a little bit like we can grow up and we can be adults and but it's okay. I freaking love time travel stories. So I mean, you can't get better than the main actors. I don't know why you guys didn't pick this first. Actually, I'm talking myself into it. I got the best of it. Yeah. A Biltmore Christmas is what you should have picked, but I got it.
Man, I would have been happy with
Wow,
any of those
mic
three
drop.
movies.
Yeah, they're all three so good.
Oh man.
They're all
Absolutely.
awesome. You guys, this was super fast. I hope you liked the format. Which way do you want to go? Do you guys want to make your pitches first, or do you want Kate to screen share your three lists first and then you make your pitch to the jury? What works for you guys as players?
I don't care.
You don't
Either
care?
is fine with me, but it's probably better for the jury if they have our list in front of them. I would
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead, Kate. Let me make sure that you can screen share here. Yep, here you go. Can everyone see it?
Mhm.
All right. So, who's first in that list? Dan, do you want to make your pitch to the jury about this list?
Sure, absolutely. Ladies and ladies of the jury, I watch hundreds of Hallmark movies a year. Do I hate most of them? Yes, I do. But if you had told me when this night began that I could present to you a list of 10 films, 9 of which I completely stand by as quality entertainment, I would have said you're crazy. But here we are. If you would let me change Rip in Time for a holiday hotline, I would believe that I have the perfect list. In fact, if you were going to tell someone you should watch Hallmark movies, I've got 10 movies for you to watch. It would be 9 of the 10 movies on my list. And it's not just Christmas. I have the best Christmas movies on my list. I've got Round and Round. I've got Three Wise Men and a Baby. I've got An Unexpected Christmas. Those are three of the, in my opinion, three of the five best Christmas movies Hallmark's ever made. That is, I can't believe I got three of those. I've got, in my opinion, two of the three best non-Christmas movies Hallmark's ever made. It Was Always You being one of them. I can't scroll down this list to find the other one being the other. Hold, please. It Was Always You and Two Turtle
Kate, can you,
Doves.
sorry, Dan. Kate, can you shrink it a little bit? We can
No, I
only
got it. All of them are on there.
9.
1, 2,
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah. I've got Two Turtle Doves, and I've got It Was Always You, and I've got Just One Kiss on the list. I've also got Haul Out the Holly. Literally, Rip in Time is the one movie that I look at and I go, I don't really love that choice. But the other 9 movies on this list, I feel like you would be hard pressed to find a qualitatively better list from top to bottom qualitatively. Now, I may not have the variety of these other 2 contestants, but for me, I'm proud of the fact that I would watch 9 of these 10 movies again. So I think it's the best list. And I'm really, really happy that the randomizer went my way early, because I feel like that was a big deal. If the randomizer had gone someone else's way early, I don't think I would have had all these movies on the list. But I made the most of it. I'm proud of the list. Would only change one of them. There you have.
There you have it. Okay. Mary, how about you?
Well, I think I have a fantastic list, and I'm not sure that we want to go with the list from the guy who he's famous for despising movies. I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't go that way. I feel like my list is the best list because I have put together a great diverse selection. I've got older movies. I've got newer movies. I've got movies that, yes, they might just be special to me, but I think if you give them a watch, you'll agree they deserve a spot on this list. And then obviously the ones that we would all pick. And similar to Dan, but better. If I look at my list, I stand by it. I stand by it. Were there other things that would qualify? Sure. Narrowing things down is not my strong suit. So I've got a lot of notes that we didn't even touch here, but I think the movies on my list are a solid representation of what is good about Hallmark movies. Because yeah, there's stuff that's not great, but we've pulled out the best of the best, and I guess that makes mine the best of the best of the best. So vote for me.
Okay, Kate's scrolling so that people can see Filmed on Location, which wasn't visible, but you've got Dan had Heidelberg Holiday, Mary's Filmed on Location is Pearl in Paradise, and Meredith is Mix Up in the Mediterranean. So Meredith, you're up. Tell us why your list is best, please.
Oh, so many reasons. Here's a fun thing to think about. Nobody wants to be square. Nobody wants to be in a box. Nobody wants to be just like everybody else, following the crowd, going with the flow. That's boring. And we don't like peer pressure, okay? So if you ask an avid Hallmark viewer, oh, what movie should I watch in these categories? And they tell you, for example, all the things that Dan has listed, it's going to be like, cool, whatever, but what if I want to be cool and original? His list is not going to help you. You're just going to be like everybody else.
It's too good, is what you're saying.
You know what? That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's basic. Because everybody's going to be like, yeah, Three Wise Men and a Baby. It's so great. Yeah, everyone and their mother says that. But if you want to be cutting edge, and you want to go, if you're the kind of person who likes to go to like speakeasies and likes to do stuff it's like cool and special and different, you like to stand out from the crowd, hey, look at my list. You got things that people wouldn't think of immediately unless they've really, really thought about it and maybe been backed into a corner, but also they just want to be like cool and original. Also, think about it this way. Let's just say if you don't pick my list, you'll never ever be able to watch those movies ever again. And do you really want to never ever watch Ghost of Christmas Always ever again? Do you never want to watch 5 Star Christmas again? Do you never want to see The Cinnamon Bun of Hallmark ever again in New Year's resolution? I don't think so. So really, the choice is obvious, but it's up to you because I'm not going to force you into a box like some other people would. So that's me, and I stand by it.
That's Meredith, and she stands by it. That was a great pitch, because I noticed that you didn't mention Finding Father Christmas, or it was time for him to come
Family
home for
History
Christmas.
Mysteries.
They don't need to be mentioned because the people who are cool will know.
You
They'll
could
know.
take Meredith's speech and present it in a logical fallacies classroom. It was so perfect in how you present an argument when you don't have the argument. And you should probably vote for her based upon that speech. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that was great stuff.
It's my big head.
A great speech, and it was like one of those logical questions at the marathon this past October.
Right.
Had to figure stuff out. Okay.
Lateral
Kate,
thinking.
we can keep this list up. I can't see all of the jury members. So jury members, if you have a question, go ahead and unmute, state your name, and ask. There you go. Raise your hand if you've got a question, and I'll call on you, and you can ask the panelists about their choices before we vote. You can give them positive feedback, constructive criticism, anything, or are you just ready to vote? You're all very quiet. Nobody? Jessica, Trinidad, go ahead, ask your question, Jessica.
Dan, I've been dying to ask you this for years. I need you to explain to me why you are a deeply moral and ethical and righteous human being.
Oh boy.
How can you defend being okay with the horrifically cruel premise of An Unexpected Christmas?
As in compared to me being okay with, like, not be, is there a premise I'm not okay with?
You're not okay with, it was always you, because he is coveting.
It was always you is purely because of matrimony.
Right.
I try my best to be like, I understand in Unexpected Christmas, he basically is like, my career wasn't, taking off like yours was, and I'm breaking up with you. And he's kind of the worst person early in that movie, but he's played like he's a bad guy in the beginning of that movie. I would say this about that, and I think that's a fair question. I would say I am pretty okay with most of the plot lines that Hallmark produces. If someone's supposed to get married in 4 days and you have what happens, it was always you. That's like, for me, that was like the line that shouldn't have been crossed. But I get it. I understand. That's a fair point. It is a pretty horrific plot line.
I fully agree with you about it was always you as well. I just don't, let me make that one clear. It's just always surprises me when you talk about how great Unexpected Christmas is, because like he destroys her heart and then is like, hey, here are these people that you love and who love you and who you thought were going to be your in-laws. Can you do me a solid and pretend that we're still together, even though I completely destroyed, and that he broke up with her because he couldn't handle the fact that she was more successful than he was. It's just, and you're right, he is played as a pretty bad guy in the beginning. I just don't feel like his redemption arc is strong enough to make up for how awful he is in the beginning.
That's fair. I think for me, very rarely do we have leads that we're allowed to laugh at. And in Unexpected Christmas, we're allowed to laugh at the lead numerous times throughout the movie. And that is, in my opinion, like, that's a pretty impressive feat. But your points are all valid. I just think
I appreciate that.
The writing is just so whip smart, and you can laugh at this guy all movie. And it's Tyler Hynes. Like, you put the hunkiest of the hunks in this role where you can laugh at him. And I think that, to me, really drives that as why I love it so much. But I get it. Yeah.
Tyler Hynes in a unicorn suit. Come on, here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Thank you, Dan.
For the players before we vote? Nobody? Seems like their minds are made up. So I am going to go ahead and hopefully post the poll. Did check this out beforehand. So let's see.
Wait, are we supposed to vote too?
We're not supposed to vote, right?
No, you're not voting.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to vote for myself. I believe in myself.
Everybody
The
else
record.
is voting. So I see 12 votes. So we are good. I have to tell you that in reverse order, Meredith, you are finishing in third place. It was a valiant effort. It was a golf clap worthy speech and presentation pitch to the jury. Mary, you are finishing second with 25% of the votes. It was a great list, wonderful, wonderful pitch. So more golf clapping for you. And Dan, you are the winner with 75% of the votes. So congratulations,
Thank
Dan
you.
Thompson.
Listen, I'm very, very excited. I'd like to thank my family for, letting me ignore them for weeks on end as I powered through rewatching all these movies for a trophy, not a check or any notoriety, just a trophy. That may or may not be in the mail. I don't even know. I'd also like to thank the randomizer because I do firmly believe that if I'm the pilot, the randomizer was my co-pilot. They were integral in allowing me to craft a virtually perfect list that I have no doubt in my mind both of my competitors, Meredith and Mary, would have also taken full advantage of to craft in a manner that I did. So this was fun. In all seriousness, this was such a blast. Thanks for having me. I love the show and I love being on it. And to be Meredith and Mary, when you two are on the show, it's usually my favorite time listening to the show because Mary, I end up having very similar opinions to you. And then Meredith, I laugh a lot and I'm just imagining like your big head saying all the things. And so you two are wonderful. You're wonderful people and valiant competitors. And you make me think and laugh when I listen to this show. So thank you both very much. And thanks Lynn and Kate and Erin Beth for putting this on. This was so fun. And I'm happy to win. And who knows what the future holds. But I got
thank
one.
the jury. We didn't vote.
That's right. Thank you, jury. Thank you, jury, for seeing what was clearly the best list. I think that was the problem is we, I took away, early on, I got to take away some that could be on multiple lists. And I think this was a fun way to do this, but I think that helped.
I know that that's probably what it felt like to you because you definitely had the first pick for the first category, but believe it or not, you were third 3 times. So that's almost like math is hard, but 3 and a third times. And second probably 1, 2, and second 3 times. So actually it was pretty even.
The 4
so
first was nice. And then having the 3/3 show up late I think that's the big thing with this is that if early on you take out these movies that everyone wants to play and on all their list, on the back end of it, you can be third. Now there was like, if somebody had taken Just One Kiss, I was going to have to dive deep in the well there at the non-Christmas movie. But, I think getting those first early, even though I got 4 and everybody else got 3, probably it's still, I think getting them early really does make a difference because you get to kind of take those big name movies off the board.
Right off the board. So I want to name the jury's members by their first names. And if anybody wants to say anything, go ahead. But thank you to Jenna and Erin R, Jessica, the lovely Langley, Jen, who actually was just on that draft with Meredith earlier today, Whitney, who was also on that draft. She was the guest co-host for the All-Star Mashup. Alicia, lovely. Alicia's going to be joining us as a guest co-host and a drafter coming up. Stephanie, who's such a big help with HMD and putting some of those synopses together, and is also a drafter and a co-host. And Happy, who's going to be joining us later this year as a panelist. So thank you guys. I don't think I've missed anyone. I hope I didn't miss anyone. And then we have Erin, Beth, and Kate. So I hope everybody had a good time. Let's all unmute and say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Hallmark Movie Drafts is a monthly production. Stephanie Purcell creates the movie synopses using descriptions from IMDb or Hallmark.com as a base. Kate Baca vets the list of eligible movies and manages our Letterboxd account called Hallmark Drafts, where you'll find the list of eligible movies for each show, as well as the final top 10 lists and the panelists who drafted them. Erin and Beth Cermak creates the Where to Watch lists and the trivia round questions, and along with Stephanie and Kate, provides additional creative, research, and hosting support. I'm Lynn Austin. I'm the showrunner, producer, and host. I staff the panels, create the show topics, manage the production schedule and the HMD socials, and edit and publish the podcast. Intro and outro music is provided courtesy of Amato Zapana. Thank you to the Deck the Hallmark double-deckers who share their passionate opinions on these Hallmark movies that we love, or maybe not love, so much.